I recently found out that my husband, James, sold our house for $610,000 and plans to leave with his girlfriend. This news hit me like a bolt from the blue, especially since it came while he was calling from a hospital. The audacity of his announcement, done with such a lighthearted tone, left me speechless. The house he sold wasn't just any property, but a special home passed down from my father. To hear him so casually mention he has a girlfriend on the side was like a punch to the gut. And to top it off, when I brought up our daughter Anna, James's response was cold and dismissive. He didn't care that his decision would leave her and me in a difficult spot. The shock and anger from his betrayal and recklessness were overwhelming. I knew I had to act fast to prevent the sale from going through. My name is Laura Brown, a 35-year-old who once dreamed of a simple, happy life with my family. But life with James has been anything but peaceful. Over the 2 years, I've watched him change, growing more distant and secretive. I've had suspicions of him being unfaithful for some time now. Despite his attempts to keep his extramarital activities under wraps, certain clues, like unfamiliar perfume smells and expensive gifts meant for someone else, made it hard to ignore the possibility. However, without concrete evidence, I felt powerless to confront him. James works at a manufacturing plant and has developed a habit of going out frequently, often returning home late. These outings became more frequent over the past 2 years, raising my suspicions further. Yet, I've been too afraid to confront him directly about these affairs, hoping for some undeniable proof before taking any drastic steps. Reflecting on our past, it's hard to believe how much has changed. James and I met a decade ago, and his warmth and honesty quickly won me over. We married after 3 years of dating, and soon after, our daughter Anna was born. From the outside, our marriage seemed idyllic, but the reality was far from it, especially as the challenges of parenting and household responsibilities grew. Now, faced with James's latest betrayal, I'm at a crossroads, forced to take action not just for my sake, but for Anna's as well. Over time, the daily demands of caring for our daughter became more challenging for me to manage on my own. Initially, I reached out to James for help with tasks like bathing and preparing meals for our daughter after he returned from work. At first, James, recognizing his role as a father, willingly assisted with childcare. However, as these requests turned into a regular expectation, his willingness faded, and he began to express his frustration openly. He argued that since I was a stay-at-home mom, managing our child's needs should fall solely on my shoulders, questioning why he, exhausted from work, should have to contribute to these tasks. His outburst left me feeling isolated and overwhelmed, especially during the evenings when I struggled to soothe our daughter's tantrums and prepare her for bed. James's detachment from parenting grew, to the point where he would outright ignore our daughter's request to spend time with him, attributing playtime and emotional support to mom's job. His indifference wasn't just towards the playful aspects of parenting. It extended to moments when our daughter needed comfort, responding to her tears with impatience and criticism of my parenting skills. This behavior forced us, my daughter and me, to retreat into our world, seeking solace in each other's company away from his harsh words. Amidst this, I longed for personal time to engage in activities I enjoyed, such as reading or watching movies, but the constant presence and needs of our daughter made this nearly impossible. Meanwhile, James seemed to freely enjoy his interests without considering the imbalance in our household responsibilities or the impact of his verbal abuse on us. The financial dependency on James compounded my feeling of helplessness, as confronting him or making significant changes seemed unfeasible without jeopardizing our daughter's well-being. Years passed in this manner, with James's behavior and our strained relationship remaining unchanged. The compassionate and engaged partner I once knew had completely vanished, replaced by someone disconnected and critical. I navigated our daily lives with the primary goal of avoiding conflict and ensuring our daughter's needs were met, despite the growing toll on my well-being. One day, as my daughter and I were drawing together, she complimented my art, suggesting I could pursue drawing as a career. Her innocent encouragement reminded me of my past aspirations and talents, which I had set aside. Her words, filled with admiration and joy for the simple Photoshop I created, sparked a moment of clarity and hope. Despite the challenges, her belief in me offered a glimpse of a potential path forward, one where my passions and skills could provide a new beginning for us. Despite the challenges at home, drawing remains a cherished hobby of mine. I often share my artwork with my friends, Margaret and Carol, who never fail to express their admiration. They marvel at my ability to create such beautiful Photoshop, considering the difficult situation with James, my husband, whose temperament can be quite challenging. Anna, our daughter, has blossomed into a remarkable young girl, embodying honesty and positivity that contrast sharply with my reserved nature. She's well liked at school, a testament to her friendly and open attitude, and even her teachers hold her in high regard. When Anna shared her appreciation for my drawings, it was a moment of pure joy for me. Her acknowledgement and the pride she expressed in having a mother who draws filled me with newfound confidence. Her happiness became a beacon of hope for me, a reminder that there's still joy to be found in our lives together. In those moments, I find the strength to continue, cherishing the simple yet profound joy of Anna's smile. One evening, James returned home in a state of inebriation, a sight becoming all too familiar and concerning. After he passed out, I discovered a motel receipt in his pocket, concrete evidence of the infidelity I had long suspected but never confirmed. This discovery stirred turmoil within me, prompting me to contemplate my next steps carefully. The following day, after James left and Anna was at school, I couldn't shake off the thoughts about the motel receipt. I had always chosen to wait for undeniable proof before confronting James about his possible affairs. Now, faced with such evidence, I felt compelled to address the issue head-on, but I was uncertain about how to approach the situation. Amidst my contemplation, an unexpected call from an unknown number caught me off guard. It was the General Hospital, informing me that James had been admitted for emergency surgery related to a severe kidney condition. The news that he might need a kidney transplant was shocking and overwhelming. Despite the pain and betrayal caused by James's actions, the thought of losing him was unbearable. I wanted him to recover, to have a chance at life. The hospital staff explained the urgent need for a compatible donor and the process of testing for donor compatibility. As I absorbed this information, my feelings were a mix of concern for James's health and the complexity of our situation. The prospect of a kidney transplant was daunting, yet it presented a critical moment for reflection on what lies ahead for our family. Through the sleepless night that followed, my thoughts were consumed with James's condition and the significant decisions we faced, highlighting the unpredictable nature of life and the importance of compassion, even in the most trying circumstances. In a surprising turn of events, I was identified as the most suitable candidate for a kidney transplant for James, my husband. Given James's unique situation as an only child and the ill health of his parents, it fell upon me to consider this significant gesture. Despite the complexity of our relationship and the challenges we had faced, the thought of saving James's life prompted me to agree to the transplant without hesitation. When I discussed James's condition and the impending surgery with our daughter Anna, her understanding and supportive response gave me courage. She encouraged me to do my best, offering her blessing for the procedure. During my hospital stay, Anna was looked after by her grandparents. Despite their health issues, they managed well enough, and Anna enjoyed her time with them, easing my concerns about her well-being during this period. The surgery happened 3 weeks later. It went smoothly, and both James and I began our recovery, with me staying in the hospital for about 2 weeks and James for slightly longer. We were fortunate to have no complications, and the recovery process was smooth. However, just before I was scheduled to be discharged, I received an unexpected call from James. Anticipating words of gratitude for the kidney donation, I was instead met with a shock. James informed me, with unsettling cheerfulness, that he had sold our house for $610,000 and planned to leave with his mistress for a trip. This revelation left me dumbfounded. The house, a cherished inheritance from my father, held immense sentimental value. James's disregard for our family and his decision to leave, especially after such a significant medical procedure, was bewildering. His response to my concerns about our daughter, Anna, was even more disheartening. James's indifference to leaving her behind, coupled with his harsh words, filled me with anger and disbelief. The betrayal and the abrupt decision to sell our home and embark on a new life with someone else immediately after the life-saving surgery I had undergone for him was beyond comprehension. This moment of crisis forced me to confront the harsh reality of our situation and the need to navigate the future for Anna and myself with strength and resilience. I knew I had to find a way to prevent James from hastily selling our home and leaving with his mistress, especially after his shocking announcement. It was hard to grasp that he would make such a drastic decision while still recovering in the hospital. The stress from this revelation not only extended my hospital stay, but also left me feeling defeated and unsure of how to protect Anna and myself from this impending upheaval. In my concern for our future, I reached out to Anna, anxious about how we would manage without our home. My call to her was filled with worry, but Anna's response was unexpectedly reassuring. She explained that despite James's claims, our home had not been sold. This news, though confusing, offered a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. Anna, with a calmness beyond her years, shared that there had been a mix-up. James had intended to sell the house through his mistress, but my in-laws had somehow intervened during my hospitalization. Her assurance and maturity in handling the situation brought me a sense of relief and pride in her resilience. After a few more days of recovery, I was discharged and returned to my in-laws' home, where Anna and my mother-in-law greeted me with open arms. The contrast between James's parents' kindness and his actions was stark, prompting an apology from my father-in-law for James's behavior. As we were about to return home, we encountered James and his mistress in a heated argument with a realtor. Their disheveled appearances and the tension between them were a public spectacle. It turned out the buyer had backed out at the last minute, leaving their plans in disarray. Approaching them, I was filled with a mix of emotions, witnessing the fallout of their failed scheme firsthand. This unexpected turn of events not only halted James's plans but also served as a moment of reckoning for all involved, highlighting the consequences of his actions and the resilience of our family in the face of adversity. Confronting James and his mistress, their shock at seeing me was palpable. Their immediate jump to accusations suggesting I had sabotaged the house sale left me both stunned and defensive. Protecting Anna, I clarified my identity to the bewildered realtor, only to be met with more chaos and blame from James. He lamented their foiled plans and financial woes, all of which were tied to his irresponsible spending on his mistress. As James's motives became clear, my frustration grew. He had intended to sell our family home, a precious inheritance from my father, to settle debts incurred from his affair, and to finance a new start with his mistress. His disregard for our family, particularly for Anna and me, was infuriating. James's audacity to insult me in such a dire situation only fueled my resolve. In his tirade, I confronted James with the truth. The attempted sale of the house, which he had planned without my consent, was not only disrespectful, but potentially illegal. Then I revealed the twist that even James was unaware of. The supposed buyers of our home were none other than my in-laws. This revelation was a strategic move by them, informed by Anna, to thwart James's plans and protect our family home. The in-laws' decision to step in was driven by their disappointment in James's actions and their trust in Anna's honesty. They were appalled by James's betrayal and chose to side with Anna and me, demonstrating their support in a tangible and impactful way. This unexpected allyship from my in-laws highlighted the strength of our family bonds and the depth of their love for Anna and me, standing as a testament to their integrity in the face of James's selfishness. Anna bravely confronted the situation, explaining to me how she had intervened to protect our home from being sold. She understood the significance of the house, a cherished legacy from my father, and convinced my in-laws that it shouldn't be hastily sold. Their decision to act as faux buyers was a clever maneuver to preserve the home for us, showcasing their deep understanding of its value and their commitment to our well-being. When James derided his parents and accused them of meddling, his words reflected his desperation and disregard for family values. Yet Anna stood strong, unaffected by his harshness. At that moment, I revealed my intention to divorce James by presenting the divorce papers. His scornful reaction, underestimating my ability to thrive without him, only highlighted his ignorance of my resolve and the support system I had in place. I informed James of the unexpected support from his parents, a lifetime gift to me, not him. This gesture from my in-laws was their way of showing appreciation for the family Anna and I provided them, contrasting sharply with James's ingratitude even after I had donated a kidney to him. Their decision to pass on a portion of their assets to me was a testament to their love and recognition of my dedication to our family. James's incredulity turned to outrage upon realizing that the assets he expected to inherit were being directed to me instead. His threats to contest the decision legally were a desperate attempt to regain control, but his lack of financial resources and the moral bankruptcy of his actions weakened his position significantly. In response to his bluster, I confronted him directly, highlighting the folly of his ways and the justified nature of his parents' decision. My words, underscored by the gravity of his misdeeds and the implications of his actions, left him floundering. James's eventual plea for forgiveness, devoid of the sincerity needed to mend the fractures he caused, came too late. The support from my in-laws and Anna's unwavering strength had already set the stage for a new beginning, one where respect, integrity, and love formed the foundation of our future. Facing James one last time, I made it clear that I would hold him accountable for the turmoil he caused, asserting that I would pursue every cent owed for emotional distress and child support. I was resolute in my determination. If James failed to comply, I promised to go to any length necessary to ensure justice. This declaration sent James and his mistress fleeing in panic, leaving behind a scene of their own making. The realtor, witnessing the ordeal, offered his thanks, although I quickly pointed out that it was I who owed an apology for the commotion. With the situation resolved for the moment, Anna and I left her admiration for my stance shining through despite the circumstances. Her smile and gratitude reinforced my promise to always protect her. The divorce from James proceeded without complication, closing a chapter of enduring hardship in what felt like a surprisingly straightforward manner. Reflecting on the patience I had for our strained marriage, I was struck by the ease of its conclusion and pondered why I had tolerated so much for so long. In the aftermath, James's life unraveled further. His financial recklessness and the end of his affair, compounded by job loss due to company cutbacks and his probable misconduct, painted a picture of his rapid decline. Left with no choice but to accept part-time work, James's new reality was a stark contrast to his previous bravado, a fitting outcome for his actions. As for me, Anna's encouragement led me to pursue a career in Photoshop, supported by the generosity of my in-laws. While still building my client base, the positive feedback on my work fuels my ambition. With every Photoshop, I'm reminded of the new path Anna and I are forging together, away from the shadows of the past and towards a future filled with hope and determination.